Good boy, Artie. Good boy, Artie. He said, "Mom, leave me alone, Mom. Luna just a little old man, Mom. Hi, pretty girl, Luna." She says, "This is my spot, and I don't want no stinky boy." Your little face is turning so white. You're just a little white girl face. It's so pretty. Is she pretty, Mom? Tell her how pretty she is. She's a pretty girl.
Yes, she is. Hello,
She's sweet. She says, "Do you just not? You're not about my looks, just about my looks."
Good girl.
Oh, she's a
Good
very
girl.
smart, very intelligent woman. You hear Stanley opening the cupboard back there?
Yeah.
Stanley, you getting it open? He also opens the dresser drawers
Yeah.
and pulls my pants and stuff out.
That's
He's always done it as long as
he was little.
it took it. Yeah, well, as long as we had him, we didn't get. He was like 10 months old when we got him, but it's just something he's always done. He's always opened cupboards. He's always opened drawers, and he's a very interesting fellow, that Stanley cat. Stanley, what's you doing? He said, I'm busy, go away, and don't talk to me. There he goes. He stands up. This is how he opens up the cupboards. He stands up on his hind legs, and he grabs the corner of the door, and he steps back.
Backwards.
Yeah. You're funny, cat, Stanley. I love you, Stanley. Come here, see me.
Oh,
You're such a big cat. Don't pick me up. I just say you're gonna make me go blah. Oh, he's such a big cat. Hi, Stanley. Say hi to you,
he's a
Stanley.
good cat. Really.
Everybody loves Stanley. Huh. That's why he's been so verbal lately. He's been talking a lot lately. He's using his voice. I don't think he's talked as much as he has since we've lived here the whole time we had him.
He's small.
All right, let's do this. Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Hayoke empath. I just like having these little talks on the way I feel about things. Today is February 1, 2023. Can you believe it, Ma? Where'd all the years go?
I know.
Bloop. Right?
That's where they went.
Bloop. Anyway, I called today's life lessons because, when you do stuff, when you live from your heart, I learned a long time ago from myself personally that whatever I do externally, if I'm going to do something for somebody, I'm going to leave it out there, I'm going to give it to them, and then I get no claim to it. I get no claim to the deed, right?
Okay.
No claim. So I do it, I bless and release, right? So I talked about a couple days ago about how the white truck was broke down in front of the house, Then I gave, because it's there all the time. So I was silly thinking that it was like a friend of the neighbor's, right? So I gave the guy $100 so he could help his buddy get a new part for his car so he could get it running again.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then today I saw the guy drive by. He said, we got the truck towed up there. And I was like, oh, he said, we got it moved, but we had to have it towed up there. And I was like, oh, okay. But this guy just started talking to me, and then I had to put it together who he was, Oh, this is the guy that owns the white truck.
The white truck.
Yeah. I said, so you didn't get your alternator yet? I say, what do those run these days? He's like, I don't know. He's like, for my truck, it's like 140. I said, you didn't get that part yet? I said, you didn't get no money for that yet? He's like, no, I'm having a hard time. And he's having a hard time. And I looked over at the neighbor, and I was like, holy hell, that dude kept that freaking $100 that I gave him for somebody else, So what happens is it doesn't keep me from doing what I do. I just got to be smarter about it. And I knew it. Like later I thought about it. Like I should have waited, but I wasn't going to be around, and they couldn't find the guy. So, but the thing of it is like, have an idea of how I think people are based on their energy and my frame of reference and how I am being being me, and my intuitiveness and my psychic ability and all this stuff, right? And I could look at someone and be like, you know what? They're probably going to screw me over one day, right? Right? But the thing of it is I still don't know. I still don't know for sure how people are. I can know with my knowing, but until my knowing is verified with their behavior, it's just something I think I know. But I could be right, I could be wrong. I'm right a lot. I'm wrong sometimes. I'm right more than I'm wrong. So, about people and how they are. So old boy lost an ally today, because he freaking was dishonest. And that was a lesson that I learned. I learned my lesson. So, I went into town today early, about 9 o'clock this morning, because I wanted to stop at the grocery store, the supermarket that I go to. It's it's a supermarket in town called Smith's. And so I wanted to get my landlady, her mom turns 96 on the 8th, so I wanted to get him some flowers for her birthday from me and Mom.
That's nice.
Yeah, and so I stopped at the market, got the flowers, and then called her and said, hey, I got, and I went over and I paid rent and I gave her the flowers and we talked for a few minutes, but I had other things to do and I didn't get to stay, because usually I'll sit down and visit with her, but I had other things to do today, so it didn't work out like that. But her mom was so grateful. She was so grateful for the pretty flower. People just don't.
Somebody's remembered.
Yeah, she's like, you remembered my mom's birthday. You must have a good memory. I said, yeah, I think birthdays are important because it also gives me a lot of insight onto how people are, on when they're born. So after I left there, I went down to the post office to check the mail and pay for my yearly rent. See, when people live in a house, you get a mailbox, and then people send you your mail to the mailbox. Here in New Mexico and small towns, small communities all over the United States, it's bizarre. Mail is a trip. Like a lot of companies, big companies, they won't ship to you can't order stuff and they won't ship it to a P.O. box. They just won't, right? But at the same time, where I live, they don't have mailboxes at the house. Now, places like UPS, FedEx, stuff like that, they'll deliver boxes here. But I can't have somebody send me a letter or something like that and it ends up in my house. It's just not. It's not, that's a luxury service, I guess, right? Yet, when you go to the post office, you have to rent your mailbox, and they raised the rent $10.
Wow.
Right? You want to guess, Ma, how much it costs to rent a P.O. box that's just like a little small, enough for letters in there for 1 year? You want to guess how much it costs? Compared on back when you rent them, I think they were probably like $20 a year, maybe, from Project City, right? Now they're $211 for 1 year to maybe get your mail, right? See, all these big businesses, all these companies, it happens everywhere. They do this all the time. It's a cycle that they do. They throw out something that everybody needs to be afraid about, right? And then everybody gets afraid and withdraws. And they just kind of, go into their fear state, right? Yeah. Then the government says, okay, well, everybody's afraid, so here's some, nobody's spending money, so here's some stimulus, right? So here, this will float you. Oh, thank goodness for the government. They're always here to help us and save us. Thank goodness for the government. Right? Well, what happens is, oh, my train of thought just derailed. I was going someplace with that. God damn it. I hate when that happens. So So here's some stimulus. Here's some stimulus. Okay, okay. Thanks government. Thanks government. And then the government doles all their buddies because everything's a club. So they designate who gets what. I remember back in 2007, 2008, with the last crash that happened. Obama. He I could have had $15,000. I could have gotten like a 15,000, because I was a homeowner. I work, I marked all the criteria of what it was to be a person that society gives a shit about, right? I don't mark those criteria anymore. So $15,000, but you know what? I turned it down. I turned down $15,000 back in 2000, 2007, 2008, the last time when they were giving out big money, because I didn't need it. So why am I going to take something that I don't need, right? No, that's what the government does. I have the wrong heart for that. I hate this song, man. I fucking hate this song. I never liked the Gin Blossoms. I never liked it. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this song right now, so I never have to hear it again. So I don't even know why I told the stimulus part of the story. So I go down. Okay, so $211 for the freaking 1 year of the post office box. Now, and then I see a guy. He goes by. He calls himself Batman. And I stopped, and he actually was the one that like introduced me to Reg and like all the park people and stuff like. He introduced me to a lot of people, showed me like the back roads, shortcuts, stuff like that, And he's been around here 20 years. Thing of it is he called me a know-it-all, and I didn't like it, because I don't think of myself as a know-it-all. As a matter of fact, the older I get, recognize more, the less I know. So if people really listen to how I talk, they'd maybe, feel that heart space more. But when people call me names, they're telling me how they are. Yeah. So I took heed the warning, and I gave him a ride home, He's like, oh, yeah, that's right. You know everything. That's right. You know And I was just like, dude, I freaking, I give you rides. I help you out, and you just gonna. All right, dude. So I was like, that's it. I'm done. So every time I see him, I just wave. But I saw him walking today, and it was particularly cold out. So I stopped and gave him a ride.
That's cold.
Because it was cold, I mean, just because somebody hurts my feelings, I get upset with them or whatever, and but it's different when harm can be caused. Come to somebody, and so I picked him up and gave him a ride, because I was headed back down that way anyway, and he got me caught up on the happenings, because I wanted to go to Ace Hardware and get some zip ties to fix something in the front yard, and so I parked at the supermarket across the street, because they were fixing potholes, so there was all this stop traffic, and I didn't want to deal with that. So I parked. So I had my plan, and he's like, "Did you hear about the guy that got blown away here?" As we're pulling into the grocery store parking lot.
Oh, wow.
Right? He's just like, "Did you hear how we got blown away here on Friday?" And he said the guy's name. And I said, no, I don't get much news out there where me and Mom are. It's quiet, and so I don't get much news. And he proceeds to tell me about how, I started to look up Twatter, because I posted a story about it on Twatter earlier today. It didn't post earlier. So a police chase leads in Smith's shooting. So this happened on Friday. Fucking God, I already technology is so retarded right now. Like, I don't know why people are even getting paid because, it don't work. I'm real curious about how this new tech age is going to work out with this new wave of technology, because the electromagnetics are just so bizarre, and so are people. People are freaking staticky, so people are creating disruptions in their technology too. So I don't know. This will be interesting. But when has the government ever said anything true, huh? Yeah, when? I don't know. I could never get a freaking answer for that. Profile. I live in the cream of the crap. That's what I put. So I'm going to delete this one. And leave this one. And here's the article. This is where I live. This is how they conduct business here. Now, there's only like 6,000, 7,000 people that live in the town. There's probably 15,000 that live in all the areas around. But it's not a big community, I mean, I lived in Omaha. They had like 1 million people. I live in Sacramento. They had a bunch of people. I grew up in Redding. They had like, what, I don't know, 70, 80, 90,000 people, but not a lot, But I've lived in small towns and I've lived in big towns. But I ain't never lived in a place like Taos, New Mexico. So shoppers at Smith's grocery store were shocked after a Taos man was fatally shot in the store parking lot last Friday night, January 20th. According to the police chief, John Wentz. I told him one time at a city meeting that he was a disgrace to the uniform because he could have put an iron or something over it. They just don't care. They get paid anyway. They're slackers, lazy, slothful. When you care about yourself, you care about other people. When you don't care about your other self, maybe they'll figure out who did it. Maybe not. It doesn't matter because they still get fed and paid anyway. So, according to a member of the law enforcement who spoke to the news here is crap too. We only get a paper once a week. I don't even read it. It's just absurd. It's a club, man. You get these small towns and you have these people. We're going to make it how we want it. And they do. And it's great for them, but for other people that aren't in the club, it's just kind of shitty. So, police have identified a suspect, but they would only say they'd have some people that they were trying to locate. Adding that his department was not ready to charge anybody. The Taos police officers, with assistance from the Taos County Sheriff's Officer and the Taos Pueblo office, that's 3 different offices that get paid to solve crime and to keep people safe, and they all fail miserably every single day. Every single day. So, they're actively investigating this incident. Evidence collected suggested it was not a random shooting. Taos police are following leads that will likely lead to the identification of a suspect. Well, they already know because, they're in a grocery store parking lot. Now, granted, it was like almost 11 o'clock at night, but there still were people around. So evidently, what Batman had said is that an SUV, cream-colored, pulled up, called the man to the window, and then proceeded to freaking unload 5 rounds into the man, and then he dropped. They took off, is what the story is. So, according to dispatch logs, police arrived at the scene around 10:49 and found the victim, later identified as Thomas Tusky, lying unconscious in the parking lot with several gunshot wounds, according to the same logs. There was also a gun found on the scene. An ambulance arrived with assistance from the Taos Volunteer Fire Department. Tusky was transported to the Holy Cross Hospital around 11:07, but subsequently died from his wounds. People around here don't go to the doctor anymore. Like, they will risk. They go to urgent care from time to time, but they won't go to the hospital unless it's something like serious and they really have to, because nobody has faith in the doctors around here. You go in the hospital here, you might not come out. It's real likely. So it doesn't matter the economic background of the people that believe this. It doesn't matter the color. It's just people don't go because they don't have faith. And the people, they are getting paid so much to care for people, but no, there's too many bad stories. Not enough good ones. So, reports say he approached a light-colored SUV, which some witnesses identified as a Cadillac, before gunshots rang out from the vehicle, which sped off. The man driving a cream-colored SUV was headed northbound from Smith's, but officers did not make contact with the vehicle. So, according to the logs, 2 days before he was murdered, he told emergency operators that a black Honda had attempted to hit him in front of Albertsons before the vehicle left, driving west on La Posta. You know, they don't even find these people and be like, why are you doing this? It's I live in a lawless land in New Mexico. I really do. So this is the part that I find so troubling. Since the shooting, some Taoiseans, whatever they call themselves, townspeople, have taken to social media to say that they'll no longer visit the parking lot where Tusky was killed, at least after dark. One person wondered if Taos' 2006 anti-light pollution ordinance, the Night Sky Protection Act of 2006, has had a negative effect on public safety, or maybe it's just the gun violence. In the see, because that they took away, it's all dark downtown so people could look at the pretty stuff. That is stupid. But this is the best they can do in Taos. This is hey man, this is the best thinking they get. Let's take all the street lights away. And there's junkies everywhere, fentanyl. I guess that I heard today, the guy told me today that the lead primary heroin dealer, they can't get heroin because he's in jail right now, but supposedly he's sick, so they're talking about letting him out. Look at this place, is so weird, man. So, okay, here's some more. This is the part that I'm getting there. It happens all the time. It's just a tragedy and upsetting, one local woman said. And they all declined because they're a bunch of cowards, My name's Marge, and I'm here to say that people need to do better in Taos, USA. I'm not fucking afraid, dude. What the fuck, man? Jesus. What the hell's the matter with the people? Okay. Doesn't make me feel any safer because I have to come buy my groceries. Who prefer to remain anonymous. Okay. Where's the part that I was like, are you kidding me? Because then I'm just going through all these comments that local people said. I actually walked over to where the man, where they had like a memorial on the sidewalk, and I leaned down and I said a prayer in hopes to release his spirit back to source. It says, this is the part that just freaking gets me, man. Tusky was shot several times and lost a lot of blood in the parking lot. Where the gory scene was not, because this happened at 10:30 at night, Friday night, okay? And it says, okay, where the gory scene was not cleaned until around 1:30 the next day, Saturday, January 21st. Photos of the scene showed copious amounts of blood with 2 wet floor signs placed around it. These are the best solutions they come up with, man. Just put some wet floor signs on it. Around it. It'll be fine. Cars parked on top of the mess as people pushed their carts through it. So there's, picture this. Taos, New Mexico, USA. Dude gets shot in the parking lot Friday night. Right now, there's still ice and stuff because it has snowed. It hasn't snowed in a while, but it has snowed and it's been so cold that it hasn't like melted off and stuff yet. You know, so there's so picture people freaking getting out, parking, getting their carts, you know, pushing their carts through, and there's just fucking blood everywhere. It's embarrassing. Wentz was apologetic, though. See, that's all you got. They don't got to change their behavior and have a better work ethic or do better or anything, because all they always just have to say they're sorry. You know how many times people have told me they were sorry? They're so sorry to me, and they just weren't. They weren't sorry, but they said it. And it was supposed to erase just negate all those bad feelings because you're sorry. So he was apologetic about the length of time it took for public safety personnel to clean up the blood. Seems like someone should have been out there at the fucking ass crack at dawn. Maybe it should have been Wentz. I don't know. Maybe he should have you know, but what? You had a couple beers the night before? You know, too many, couldn't get up in time to freaking go clean up the blood off the sidewalk, you know? Quite honestly, it was an oversight. An oversight! How about you not get a paycheck anymore? And we'll call it an oversight. Oh my God. I'm so tired of freaking lazy people, man. Everywhere. Just lazy. People with the mentality that, oh, someone else will clean it up. They have people to do that. You know what? It's 2023. They don't have people to do that anymore. People aren't doing that anymore. Our dump is closed on Saturday because they don't have people to, you know, that are ambitious enough to go sit at a freaking, you know, place and collect money. They can't find someone to work there. So because they're short staffed, they can't go to the dump on Saturday. So if you work and you got to go to the dump, you got to take a day off and do it during the week this week. It's just, I mean, come on, man. Come on. What happened to America? Ain't nobody wants to work, but everybody's going around living their best life. Based on what? I thought people went on vacation because they were so tired from working hard, and nobody works hard anymore, but they're always on vacation. Therefore, all the work that needs to be done rarely gets done. Mom got a phone call today from the medical health insurance people. It tripped me out because I got the call yesterday, and after 5 o'clock, I don't listen to voicemail. I don't ever, my ringer's never on, nothing like that. But I listened to the voice because I got a call from Phoenix, Arizona, and I thought it was somebody else, but it was somebody calling from their insurance for disabled people. And they wanted to talk to him. And I was like, dude, I haven't lived in Arizona in 2 years. Like, you know, all these people get paid to create their systems, and their systems are just shit. Like, you don't even know where she's at, you know? And then the woman didn't even call me back to let me know if she was from Arizona or New Mexico. Because I'm in New Mexico, but since I've been here a couple weeks ago, I talked to a PA that's in Texas, which is weird to me. So doctors and PAs and stuff like that, they can just blah blah blah, you know, over the phone from one state to another, but you gotta have a But if you're a lawyer, you can only, if you can practice law in this state, but you can't in this state because it's all punishable. It's just, I'm so tired of this freaking, the nonsense of this country, man. It is created like rules and regulations, policies, procedures, standards, and all of it I just look as recommendation, because I'm like, all this is just because of the people that are making them know that what they are. And they're like, oh my God, if society thinks like I do, we need to implement these rules because, they can't help themselves. So maybe they can stop somebody else in society. The level of hypocrisy has reached to just a level that's just been unprecedented in my lifetime. The level of absurdity, because it's all a club, it's all a group. Everybody wants to be everybody's friend. And then somebody gets mad, and then they got dirt on their friend because they saw their friend did some weird shit when they were friends, and then they get mad at him, and then they turn that dirt, and then, it's weird. It's weird. It's bizarre. So, well, Mom and I, we're doing pretty good, huh, Ma? And the dogs are doing okay today? Yeah. Stan Lee? Yeah. I'm going to have to take them out walking around here pretty quick. It's so cold. I'm going to freaking hate it, but it's all right. They're worth it. It's those days right now we're in like the same day we're living over and over. It's clear. There's not clouds in the sky. It's just super cold. Yeah. So, found out that that dummy that freaking flaked on me when my sister died. And that's when I was like, I don't need to know this chick no more. I found out today that her freaking kids got expelled. 11 years old and 15 years old. And they went to like this special school. Like it was like like where they would go down, like their field trips would be in, like for when I was growing up, we'd go to the state capitol or something like that, for the day. But for them, they went down into a canyon, hiked down into a canyon and camped, and then hiked back down. I mean, for like 3 or 4 days, I mean, it's cool, right? And they learn how to identify, I guess, Anyway, learn outdoorsy stuff. How to build a fire, I guess. I don't know, all that stuff, right? Or that's what I'd be teaching them if I was the teacher. So it was a really good school. Now, evidently, they would yell at the teachers, Which started getting me thinking, when I was growing up, there's a way, it was just kind of understood. There's a way that you would talk and not talk to adults. You know what I mean? I guess I was put in my place too many times. Because I thought I was grown up. I thought I was smart like an adult, because I lived through all these adult circumstances. The fact remains is I was still a kid, and there were still people that reminded me of that, right? And then you have these adults that they have kids, and then they freaking just want to be their kid's friend. So there's no discipline. They don't teach them how to not do things just because they feel like it, No self-control. And now they don't go to school at all. 11 and 15 years old. I remember, Mom, you freaking like, oh no, you're going to school. Because I'm not getting in trouble because you're not going to school. Because of the truant officer. They used to have truant officers that went around. Like why are you out of school? Stuff like that, The world's changed, man. It got there's just no accountability. And people don't police themselves. They're just going around just doing whatever they want, and they're causing a lot of freaking harm. A lot of harm, huh, Mom? Just people are getting belligerent. And so many people, I mean, but I got the word today is that, oh yeah, it's all fentanyl around here. It's not. And the guy who kept proceeding, he kept trying to tell me, like how people acted and stuff. I'm like, dude, that's not my scene. I don't care. You know? I think people can get over their broken hearts so that they don't have to perpetuate that freaking way of living. You know, poisoning yourself, killing yourself. Just, God. It was kind of cool talking to the landlady today. I told her that I was going to, I said, yeah, but I said, it's a trip. The world's just getting so bizarre. I said, it's a trip, though, because every night that bar, the parking lot is full. It's full. Like, sun goes down, it's just straight up the parking lot at the bar is always full. And then she was like, she started kind of laughing. She was like, well, Pastor Larry said that he can't get people to go to church anymore. I said, well, that's because their spirits are for their self-will. So Satan's winning. You know? When it teeters and more people start sitting in the pews again and having a faith outside of themselves, believing in a power greater than themselves, outside of themselves, you know, that's the difference. Obedience. You know, people aren't obedient to themselves. They don't say, hey, don't take those shots now. You know, it's not what God intended. That's not what they're doing. They're listening to their ego, easing God out. Oh, drink that and drink 8 more. You know? And then they take this girl home, but she don't like him, but he don't care because he's stronger than her. Now we got all kinds of messes in the world because of evil spirits. I told her, I said, you know what? I said, it's been heavy on my heart that I was going to go up and have a conversation with Pastor Larry here pretty soon. And she was like, that, you know, she was like, you were? And she gave me her interpretation of God, and I just added to it. She's like, I think God is that spark, you know. It's like everybody has an emptiness inside of them, you know. And then it can only be filled by the Spirit of God. I said, I believe that is true. In addition, that once that we contain that little bit of God in us from opening our heart, then that's when, because God is supposed to work through us. We're supposed to do the good deeds to create heaven on this earth. And people use it for their own selfish personal gain. And they're the ones that win because they got the biggest guns. You know, and I can stand up in front of City Hall and I can yell and I can scream, you know, that you guys are doing it wrong. They just lock me up. They don't care. Because they're all in the same club. And it ain't going to change unless people, I mean, we had 2 years of freaking people's family members dying and it still didn't even impact people's hearts. It still didn't, like, you think you saw all so many people dying because they're unhealthy. You think there'd be a wave of freaking fitness. You think people want, you know, no, just a trickle. Because it's just easier to live in your ego. Because it's more fun to go around, do whatever you want, buy whatever you want, eat whatever you want. Not have to discipline yourself ever. Say whatever you want to whoever you want, whenever you feel like it. And there's energy attached to that. You just can't do that. So, you hear Tucker snoring back there? Yeah? Anyway. We got to be in service today. I got to stop off at the vet and help donate with a dog that's having a surgery, you know, because there's a lot of people dumping their animals because they can't afford to feed them. And there's no place for them here in Taos. Like, there's one rescue, there's places like at a premium, you know, it's at a capacity because, you know, you can't get, it's a nightmare with the whole spay and neuter thing, you know, and you got to wait months to get the cat, and the cat's gone into heat 3 times in that time, you know, and it's a constant thing. And I got solutions, but university, I try, but if ain't nobody is willing to hear me, then do I have solutions? Yeah, I got solutions. I got solutions all day long. You know, you got all these people that have just been coddled and given everything, you know. They were born into privilege, you know. It doesn't matter the color of their skin. It don't matter. Privilege is you got the right name, you're related to the right people, you got the advantage. And if there's one position, you'll get it over the more qualified person every time. It's all that stuff, man. I mean, how does anybody else have a chance in this life, in this world? Because there's just so much nepotism and so much freaking dummies that are at the helm. And supposedly it's supposed to switch and change and stuff. But I've been hearing that my whole life. It's what I got.